This is Silicon Sports Spectator. Thanks for joining. If you're like me, you've probably been practicing that silly podcast title multiple times because it is a crazy tongue twister. And but we're going to see where it goes. I don't know. I was joking with some buddies that we had a big influx of people tuning into the channel, but they were really looking for the Silicone Sports Spectator, and that is a very different set of programming. This is about Silicon Valley sports. So, anyways. Yeah, you'll get used to my silly sense of humor here. We kicked off really the whole channel this week. It came from an idea where I thought I would just be doing some sports analysis, but expanding that to other things as well. So especially around sports culture, the entertainment experience, and really just what it's like to be a fan in the area. What's not just about watching our favorite teams, but it's experiencing the whole bit, what that all means. There's a big culture around it. So let's get into some of it, what's going on this week. It's funny, it's my first week and I already feel like I'm a little bit behind on things, but we're in the middle of February right now. But where I want to begin today, we want to give a shout out, especially to Canyon Creek Brewing Company. They opened up their second location in Danville. Their original being in Orinda, is that right? Or Moraga. And I've been to their brewery before. Good beer. And now I was pleased that they opened up a newer location, their second location, right near me in Danville. Fantastic. I loved it. The other night, internet went out at my house, and I went looking to go watch the Sharks game somewhere, and was happy to check out their new digs. It's a great place. They got a big projector screen there. I was able to watch the game on, enjoyed their great food. Recommend the poutine, hockey, Canadian mood, so it struck me perfectly. All right, so yeah, let's going around the horn here in the Bay Area. In some ways, February is kind of a funny month. We're about to go on breaks for our hockey. Just went on a break for Four Nations. NBA is about to, beginning tomorrow, go on a break for their All-Star break. So you think that sports are kind of taking a back seat, but the reality is it's actually a really unique time. We'll go over some of the things that are going on and buzzworthy, especially here in the Bay Area. I mean, first and foremost, I'll just give a quick sentence about it, is that we just had the Super Bowl. I really appreciate, I went to a house party, nothing big. Again, we won't dwell on it too much because it didn't really involve the Bay Area very much, other than Deebo Samuel making some news, asking to be traded, or his agent asking to look into trade considerations. It's really interesting. I always liked him and thought that he was a big game changer, but I don't know. I don't know what it is about wide receivers kind of becoming divas, and I don't know if that's exactly what's going on, but it never seems to be a straightforward situation with that particular position. So, anyways, we wish him well no matter what. I think he can make a big impact on whatever team he goes. I wish the 49ers could hang on to him, though. Elsewhere, though, real quick about the Super Bowl. Again, congrats to the Eagles. That's all I'll say about that. But the big thing as far as Bay Area fans should be concerned about is, we are the next host. The ball is in our court. Super Bowl 60 is coming to Levi Stadium next year, 2026. So less than a year, that will be we'll be there. Who knows? Maybe I'll get media credentials through this podcast. I won't hold my breath on that, but no, it's really cool. I'm happy to see our local economy getting a nice boost there, and hopefully it's a good experience. I'll closely watch and monitor the planning committee on that, see what activities are going around, and maybe I'll check out some of those too. So that's what's going on with football, even baseball. It's an exciting week because pitchers and catchers reported spring training. So it really just, I think really the only takeaway here is that it I always find spring baseball is just a time of optimism, just starting fresh anew. And especially for someone who's rooted for a team with the now defunct Oakland A's, it was always an optimistic time just to, hey, this year are we going to get better? We're going to see some better, who's going to emerge as a new player or a new star on the team. But with the A's moving away, I don't know. It's kind of depressing. I'm transitioning into a Giants fan, let's say. I now identify as a Giants fan, let's call that in modern nomenclature. So yeah, there's a little bit of adjustment period for me, but I'm optimistic. I'm excited. I've been monitoring them a little bit closer, and And I'm still not sure how I feel about the A's in general. Just, I'm hurt. It's like a bad breakup. It's like there's these hurt feelings, but I kind of wish them well. But I don't know. We'll see which feeling prevails there. I would love to go to a game at what do they call it that out there in Sacramento, but Rivercat Stadium. It's a great ballpark, and I don't know. I'll be sure to check it out. Though the ticket prices are pretty insane, though. Yeah, it was going on basketball. Just basketball, it's cool. We're in this Jimmy Butler era now with the Warriors. Well, I think what I'll say about that is that, hey, we're 4 games in. The Warriors are 3-1. They just knocked off the Houston Rockets, a formidable opponent tonight. Though they had a pretty sizable lead there and made it very interesting in the final couple minutes, but able to pull away with the W. What I'm liking there especially is that, Jimmy's Butler has been very consistent. I love it. But really, it's Steph has just come to his higher level here. And if this is what it takes to get an extra boost of performance out of him, I'm all for it. I like the trade all in all. So, though it is a very small window for us to capitalize, I worry about what happens in 2 years. But I like where we are right now. So we'll enjoy these last couple of years. Also, shout out too to the Valkyries. Just some big news around there. I think I saw they announced as the season gets closer and closer. They're announced just their practice facility. It's where the Warriors used to practice, actually in Oakland, and that's been all completely rebranded with all the Valkyries colors and branding. I'm really happy for them. It looks like we're going to be one of the model franchises in the WNBA. So, yeah. The other thing that's really cool is that just earlier this month we signed really one of our first All-Star players, Tiffany Hayes. So, reigning 6th woman of the year in the WNBA, and she is now a Valkyrie. So really cool, exciting. It's probably one of the biggest name signings that we've gotten. That's again, it's hard to tell. I doubt we're going to be at least thus far. We'll see how the team actually comes together. It's maybe not fair for me to come up with a judgment already, but are we going to be contenders? Hard to tell. But I just love the energy. I love that we have an owner that invests well in this team. So an ownership group that's really involved there. So loving everything related to that really cool brand, and I hope it's a huge success. I can't wait. Switching gears to hockey, I won't say much about the Sharks. They're on break right now. They've been in a major losing slump. I am annoyingly optimistic about them, though. In my world, they can, even in really bad losses, I still kind of look at them and think that big picture, they're doing the right moves. They're playing chess long term, and making trades and stocking up on draft picks and things. One noteworthy news item I think around them was, and this probably isn't a surprise to anyone, but they ranked across all the NHL teams, the Sharks have the strongest prospect list. Just you can think, and that's all the players that they have. I've been really enjoying keeping track on some of these minor league players that they have in their systems, and that are coming up. So the one that especially caught my eye that recently was Igor Chernysov, if I'm saying his name right. I'll get used to it, but he's a big power forward, and in something like in 10 games, I forget how many goals he hit, but it's over a point a game and multiple goals. But it looks like this kid from Russia struggled a little bit in the KHL, but is dominating in I think he's in the OHL, if I'm getting that right. But anyways, was really happy to see his productivity and really his early dominance in that. Maybe we'll see him brought up to the CUDA here soon. That would be really cool to see, especially I used to play ice hockey, and my teammates are going to laugh when I say this, but kind of thought of myself as a powered forward like this. It's not the same kind of productivity, I'm sure. Anyways, really cool to see that. Just one of the many names that we have in our system that we like. So try to remember that one. All right, so that's kind of all on the main. Well, let me quick touch on what's going on with soccer and so forth. Again, season's about to kick off here in both. MLS is getting close. This weekend, actually down in downtown San Jose, they're actually hosting the Earthquakes season kickoff party. I'm hoping to go to that if the weather's good. That's probably what it's going to come down to, whether or not I show it up to it. But if the weather's good, I think I'll show up. And just think back to last year where they have a historically bad team. Unfortunately, it was rough to see, but again, we some nice off-season moves, a little bit of optimism. Can't be as bad as they were last year, right? right? We'll see. So, anyways, just kind of like spring training in baseball. It's like, again, new time for optimism and and everything. So I like it. Um, and yeah, Bay FC too, same thing. Some cool offseason moves, and we'll monitor that closely. I only got to see one of their matches live last year, but they were kind of a cool team. Made a little run at the end of the season to squeeze into the playoffs. And hey, but for their inaugural season, I consider that a big win for the franchise. Cool game experience, and just love that stadium too. Both where the Quakes and Bay FC play. Love that stadium. Never a bad seat in the house. Cool fan experience always. Always affordable too. Yeah. Yeah. So what else do we got going on here? Oh, I want to talk about earlier, this month, cool experience that I had of going down to the AT&T Pro-Am in Pebble Beach. So professional golf. This is probably the fifth or sixth time that I've gone down. I have a couple friends that are marshals, that are volunteer marshals at it, and so they usually hook me up with some tickets, which is always fun, and I get to see them a little bit. But again, what a cool experience. The Pro-Am is fun, kind of do the celebrity stalking. I got to say though, this year, again, having gone multiple years in the past, and this year felt a little different in that they're changing the way that the Pro-Am works. The amateurs only play 2 days, Thursday, Friday. And then they don't play Saturday, Sunday anymore. But not that that was the biggest thing, but they also cut the amateur field in half. So, a lot of familiar faces that used to be I used to love seeing Bill Murray. He was always a crowd favorite, in at there. Yeah, and that's kind of the one that comes to mind. There's several others though, but anyways, it was just a much smaller field. It was kind of a bummer to see, but no, I sense that what's happening there is that the PGA is probably shifting away from the amateur model, with Pebble Beach being one of their premier properties or venues for their sport and so forth. I think they can maximize their TV viewership and so forth by just focusing on the pros. That's my guess anyways. I doubt that the amateur side of it, while it's fun for those of us who are following in the gallery and, seeing some of our famous names up and close, some cool interaction there, it's probably not enough to make that a priority, and rather so. But when you focus on the big golf stars and the TV experience and everything like that, I imagine that they're going to double down. The PGA is going to double down on that, particular one. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see if that or if just tradition reigns. Again, the tradition of having these amateurs play ever since the Bing Crosby days. But anyways, but at least in my experience, going over the last 10 years or so, that I've always enjoyed going down. I mean, there is no better venue for it. I can just walk that course, and in bad weather, good weather, no matter what, it's a little slice of heaven. So if you haven't ever made a trip down there, for it, every February, that is a great experience. Highly recommend the AT&T Pro-Am. And what I'm hoping here to do on this episode, or excuse me, in another episode coming up, maybe even later this month, I'm hoping to bring on my buddies who act as the marshals there, talk a little bit about their experience and memories of working that. They've been doing it for something like 15, 16 years, and it's really cool to see and share that a little bit with them. I'd love for you to hear their story and some of their fun memories from over the years. All right, so that's a lot of things that are going on lately. A couple things coming up, though, just wanted to highlight. I mentioned that the Quakes have their season kickoff. That's pretty cool. I am a huge hockey fan. I think if gun to my head, I had to pick one sport, it's ice hockey. And Four Nations going on is so cool to see. It's a limited field. Maybe that's the only downside. Not all countries. I would love to see the Czechs or the Russians play in this too, but politics or just venue size or not venue size, but tournament planning wise, I don't think it was everything happened. But I hope to see this tournament evolve. Next year, I believe we have the Olympics, the Winter Olympics coming, and again, that'll be another great opportunity for the NHL to show off its best players. And I love that level of hockey. I think that the players bring a kind of a new motivation. And while we don't see a lot of Sharks representation watch in the next couple of years. We have the World Cup of Hockey coming up. What is that, 2028? Something like that. Think that could be prime Macklin Celebrini years. Those could be Will Smith years, Askarov years. If we see these young guys in our system that they continue to rise and so forth. I'd love to see if they make it into their respective squads, represent their countries at that time. It'd be really cool to see that and see our local Sharks represented. The big news around here in the Bay Area is that we are the host of the NBA All-Star Game this year. So really excited for San Francisco and the Chase Center for doing this. Though I'm going to go a little bit of a rant though here too. It's impossibly priced, even like the things like the celebrity game. I figured that the actual NBA All-Star Game was going to be a pretty pricey ticket. I'm thinking, okay, Warriors ticket prices. No, it was, we're talking, you're $1,000 in the lower bowl. It's like, okay, come on, it's not feasible just for the average Joe, so to speak, to get tickets for that. So I'm a little disappointed in that. I am going to check out the NBA experience at Moscone this weekend, though. So that'll be kind of cool, a little big fan experience. Well, I'm not really sure too much. I know there's going to be some, family style activities going on, meet NBA alumni, and I don't know, pin the tail on the mascot. We'll see what kind of activities that they have. Really, I'm hoping to just get some cool swag, take some fun photos. Who knows? Maybe I'll even grab an old player for an interview or something like that. We'll see if they don't kick me out for something like that. So, but anyways, it's still exciting though that we get to showcase the Bay Area at its finest, hosting it. I hope that it's a good experience. It's really cool to see Run TMC as the coaches in the celebrity games. So that's really cool. I was bummed about just today it was announced that Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu were not going to participate in the 3-point contest, which while it's kind of a bummer to say, it's like I'm kind of glad they're just not repeating that from last year. I would love to have seen a different form of that, though maybe the only downside being, hey, this is Steph's home facility and everything like that. I don't know if he's still going to participate. I don't think so. Anyways, but I don't like to see them recycle the same things over and over, but mix it up. My one hot take, I would say, though, it's for the NBA All-Star format, which every year I seem to get more and more distant from it. I'll tune in a little bit. The 3-point contest. I cannot sit through the dunk contest anymore. I used to love that, especially as a kid, and now it's darn near unwatchable. Apologies to former Warrior prospect Mac McClung, two-time champion of that, bringing him back. But like now it's kind of just getting like I almost feel like that's getting annoying a little bit bringing him back. And again, total apologies to him. Mad respect for him. I love watching highlight reels of him and root for him in his career. Yeah, like it seems like a bad gimmick gone wrong now at this point, bringing it back. So a couple ideas that I have for the NBA All-Star Game. One is involve the WNBA more. Truly, like do joint squads with them. They kind of even do this a little bit on the celebrity team, I think, the celebrity game. But again, if the NBA players aren't going to play defense, it's like how cool would it be to see the likes of Caitlin Clark pass to LeBron and whatever. But again, if it's a purely an event for the fans, and something like that would be something that the fans would love to see. We saw a little sliver of that with Sabrina and Steph last year in the 3-point competition. How cool was that? Or even harken back, do you remember this and this was in San Jose, actually, when San Jose hosted the NHL All-Star Game. They had the fastest skater, and oh my God, I'm totally forgetting her name, but she competed in the fastest skater alongside the men. And oh my God, I'm so sorry I forget your name because I'm such a big fan of yours. I didn't have it in my notes, but just thinking out of the top of my head, but it'll come to me in a minute. But anyways, the notion being of, hey, mix in, our star female athletes into this, into these events, showcase them, help their sports, too. But again, I think it costs nothing. Maybe the only difficulty is that, like right now, like with the NBA is in season, the WNBA is not in season. So maybe that's a logistical challenge. But how cool would that be? My other suggestion, though, and tell me you would not want to see this, but the pros playing, in the All-Star game, I think this would be better than a dunk contest, playing a game of horse or whatever. Instead of the word horse, pick your sponsor name, Audi, Honda, whatever. It's and that's but the concept. It's you try to copy your opponent's shot, and you earn a letter if you don't get it. But like, how cool would that be? And I think way back in the 80s, I'm dating myself here, 80s, 90s, where it was the Bird Magic and Jordan McDonald's commercial of playing crazy horse shots and everything like that. Like, well, that was just a gag commercial and so forth. But I mean, you can imagine just like Steph taking like, hey, I'm going to take a 3/4 court shot. And okay, James Harden, you try to hit that shot now, and like whatever, like for that, maybe not 3/4 court, but a half court shot. Steph hits those at a pretty regular basis. We see him doing it warm up every single game. His tunnel shot, like have him try one of those, in one of these rounds. I think viewers would absolutely tune in for something like that, or make it an elimination. I mean, who knows? I mean, you have some creative people out there that can come up with a format for this, but I think that'd be really cool. The NBA players would, I think, get really into it in terms of coming up with these creative shots. And I don't know, and maybe you can even do things like, hey, you know what? For my creative shot, I'm going to do a 360 dunk, and something like Anthony Edwards. That's an easy shot for you, but Steph Curry, it's harder for you. And that you could think strategy wise. It's and I bet you would get a big sponsor. I work for a tech company that has a 5-letter name, so it's yeah, nudge, nudge. Anyways, I would love to see that kind of change in formats or something to mix it up. I've heard all sorts of ideas about international versus USA teams. Okay, but I don't think you're going to get the same, you're probably still going to get these no defense games. You're not going to get the same level of, let's say, like the international. You're not going to replicate the Olympics. You're not going to replicate Four Nations hockey. You're not going to replicate all these other big things. So we'll see where it goes. But maybe another cool idea. What about like a NCAA like alum thing? Like you team up with people that went to your same school, and Michigan versus Michigan State. And I don't know if you can even play like a full game, but maybe a short 3-on-3 thing. But well, anyways, I wasn't expecting to share all my creative ideas, but yeah, you get the idea. Let's mix up the formats here, get the sponsors involved even. It's at the end of the day, this is a experience for the fans, especially if you're going to charge them $1,000 for lower bowl seats. Come on, we really want to see something cool, not the awful dunk contest where we're attempt number 17 of someone trying to do a whatever crazy dunk. But I don't know. I'm happy for the Bay Area, and I'll definitely be tuning in. So I'll give a report back too on what that NBA experience is like when I check that out. It's about the only ticket there I could afford, for this. But again, if you want to support me, you can do that by liking, subscribing, following, whatever you need to do for this podcast. Leave me a comment. What kind of things you want to hear about in upcoming episodes? I think in my usual weekly episode, I'll have that, but I'm also going to try to squeeze in an interview this week. So stay tuned for that, but be sure to follow the podcast here on Silicon Sports Spectator. I'm Joe. Thank you so much. Have a great week. We'll talk to you after the NBA All-Star game. Peace.